Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on September 19, 2021, Sunday, rest day. Enjoy your rest. I am just working for you, just to provide information to you. You can view this later on if you are sleeping, no problem. I am talking about quality and safety along with COVID-19 issue in relation, and title being Civil Field Engineering Life Quality AnnexSL COVID-19 Safety Health Environment Engineer's Role, Designs, Construction, Methods, Contracts, Organizations, Communications, Coordination, why be behind quality of standard material. My dear friends, every day talk is done. You know that. I don't want to repeat every day same thing. The title is same, topics are same, quality is safety. Of course, COVID is related to quality of safety, and we should realize this fact that there is nothing new in that. It is same. It's part of life now. You may say COVID-19 is now part of life of everybody. We cannot do without this. We have to tolerate it. And you can say mask has become a part of our life, daily life. Of course, people are careless. Majority people are careless. Generally, all over world. You have to, tell them sometimes you are not wearing mask. It's really very terrible. It happens with me many times. I'm a person of principles, I'm a person of system. I don't know why. People don't believe in systems, or they believe in systems temporarily. That is really unbecoming. System is system. If you go out of system, which is your own production, nobody imposed on you. Mask is not something that it is something miraculous. We use mask, or indirectly people use mask in past also. Ladies use burqa or sari, ghungat, veil. Indirectly it was a mask. And some people used to keep handkerchief on their faces in hot season, in dusty environment, or you can say air filled with dust, so that dust particles should not enter your nose, enter your eyes, enter your ears. Well, that is a protective measure, and I appreciate that. But now, because somebody says to you there is virus, COVID-19, corona, you have to take protection from that. You have to apply protection for yourself. I don't know what's wrong with that. Nothing wrong. It's for your protection, for my protection. You have to think for others, and others should think for you. It is so simple. I don't think there is some fire in that. We wear other dressings, shirts, pants, or you can say saris or suits, or you can say some other kinds of dressings everybody wears. If you go to some other Middle East country, you will find big clothes people wear. When you can afford that, not financially, convenience wise you can afford that, I don't think there should be some problem for one small cloth you wear on your face, just for service of your body. It is really surprising to me sometimes that somebody comes to you at your home, and I ask them, please don't come in, wear your mask. Okay, you may be vaccinated, doesn't matter. Vaccination doesn't tell you stop using mask. Vaccination doesn't tell you. Vaccination only tells you, yes, this is mask, use it. Well, we are good people, we are educated society, we are having good certificates, professional certificates, we are having competency certificates, we are people of honor. Our own honor, we honor ourselves. And when we We honor ourselves. This means we honor quality, we honor safety, we honor everything that should be done, because self ownership is very important. If we cannot honor ourselves, we cannot honor others. Self respect is very important. We should think of others. Even I got vaccination, I got inoculated both vaccinations, or even say nowadays they are saying booster one. Let us say I am fully vaccinated, though I am not, but I am just giving an example. It doesn't mean that COVID-19 cannot come to me. Community, they shall for sure be impacted by you. That's why it is very serious issue. Video and audio signals are 0 bytes per second. I don't know what to do, continue or not to continue. Well, I am continuing. Let me see if signals come back. That's why I am saying it's very uneasy issue. We have to understand other safety along with our safety. That's why I always bring in this topic. I can change it from time to time. For example, I inserted life into that because life is a question mark due to COVID-19 as well as due to quality lapse and negligence on safety. Negligence on safety is very critical. It's not simply that you have to be unsafe on construction site or in factory works. You are unsafe in home also if you do not care about COVID-19. COVID-19, which is still a secret, nobody has understood it. Nobody has gone to roots of this. Yet it's been very successful. Being a professional in construction, in civil engineering, in designs, though I'm not expert in designs, but I understand everything in design. It doesn't matter if I do design or construction, I work among people. Though I'm not working these days due to my health and due to my age, but I have worked in life. I have worked generally half of my life in, half of my career on sites, and I think less than half of my career in offices or in writing. Both I think are very important professional spheres. When I work on site, I have to take care of everyone. That is very important. Because those who work with me on sites, they are not professionals in true sense. They are follower of profession. And following profession means they should be instructed what to be done and what not to be done. How to first save yourself, because if workers are not safe, even that crew who work for ourselves, who work for project, if they are not safe, we cannot move project. Or we move project with accidents, frequent accidents, and that is not acceptable in our safety world, because it kills quality of safety. It kills quality of construction. It kills quality of everything. And that's why I say it's very important that we should think of workers, we should think of ourselves, we should think of staff, that site should be clear of all obstruction. And it's not only site I'm also talking of site offices, I'm also talking of other offices. because people keep on coming into site offices. I also use my site office, others use site office or site. All should be tidy. All such areas where construction goes on should be kept tidy. It's very important. And you know what is TIDY, tidy. There should be no direct obstruction. There should be no dust. It should be living clean. I'm not saying it should be like kitchen or like drawing room, but it should be enough clean so that you do not face hazards. All circulation areas where people walk should be clean, should be clear of obstruction, and in offices also there should be no obstruction. Where you have to have exit during emergency, that should be not opposite to you, but in direct way where you have to run in that direction. It should open. There should be fire, you can say portable or fixed fire fighting. You can say carbon dioxide, fire extinguisher, or filled with compressed water. That should always be there, and people should know how to use them. People should know where is the electrical point, meter control, which you can put off during fire. If we are going to use Energen, or we are going to use FM 200 on our project sites which are in maintenance or which are operating, we should know how to use them. Everything we should know. And we should have all facilities that are required in safety maintenance, that are required in upkeep of safety. Safety is very, very important. And generally in field we face different kinds of safety. Safety from working at heights and safety from working on grounds. And we have to take safety during processes of concreting, processes of gas work, processes of something else, and maintenance of fire. Their expectation of fire with time. There are hazards which can accept, and hazards are defined which are not expected. Particularly on petrochemical operating projects, operating processing plants, so much happens. That shouldn't happen. There are so many ways, complete details are available on, and we have talked before also. There is major problem always for fire or for blast. Only two ways in those plants. Either it's hazard of fire which is unknown, it can come from anywhere, and blast also leads to explosion and to fire breakdown. So there every possibility is that we have to provide. Of course it's cost, but process plant doesn't face cost, doesn't look into cost. Cost is involved there, but it is question of safety of people. We have to think that way. Safety of people, safety of plant, and once if it is say endangered, it's jeopardized, it will jeopardize whole plant. Even one mistake, one error can lead to disruption of process and explosion. And that's why we generally trifurcate these plants. We say this is process area or this is blast area, this is exceeding battery limit of process area, and this is, you can say, area between non-blast and blast, and you can say that's other one is clear from there, and there's no blast, where you can say administrative building functions, your warehouses function, or other where there is no chance of explosion, there is no chance. So generally fire chance is also very limited there, because there is no oil product or something flammable product. But there's very extensive arrangements for safety, and that is a requirement. We cannot say no, and this means quality of safety, health and environment must be maintained. And generally on professional plants, on international level of processing plants, you can say for example ethylene plant, refinery, or alkali plant, or some other plant, gas plants, LNG plants, propane gas, all this having such arrangements. There are many compressors involved on such plants, like ethane gas compressor, propane gas compressor, crack gas compressor, wash water system, all that, so much so is involved. That all is very much based on foundations on a structural steel building, and these are, of course, prone to fire and prone to explosion. And all those arrangements must be made, and of course certainly made in designs and in construction. So that is very important point. I should not jump away from here to there, but I'm just talking without any reference. So what is coming to my mind, I'm going to express to you. Fire proofing is not a term, fire resistance is a term. Just like earthquake proof is nothing, is no definition, it is earthquake resistance. Resistance is important. How much resistance we provide to our structures, same way how much resistance we get into our body. That is health point. If my body is resistant to COVID-19, if my body is resistant to dust effect, it is not allergic, I am strong enough to digest all this. That's called immunity. That's called, but it doesn't mean COVID-19 would not come to you. It can come to our workers who work physically on projects. They are very strong. I can say many times stronger than myself, because I am not physical worker, I am mind worker. There's a difference, mind worker, physical worker, and in between two stages workers like staff. Staff work using mind, but not to that extent as thinkers like engineers and top managers or top organizers, they think. So there is a difference of requirement. Our workers should be very strong physically. I'm not saying that they have to raise mountain. They have to work. Work means from morning till evening, maybe 8 hours, 10 hours they work. And they, in early time, in early morning, they are very strong, they are refreshed, having taken some breakfast or tea, and then lunch time they have taken lunch. They are energetic, and energy goes on diminishing from morning till evening. Of course they take food, but food doesn't give that. Food is required for them, but it cannot continue that energy. So you can say that energy which is early morning or adjoining of shift is very high level, and when it goes down, they leave site or they leave work, it's of course happiness comes there. They are happy because they have finished shift, they are going home, they'll take rest, but energy is limited that time. Now that level of energy which is limited one at that time, at end of shift, that must be enough that person doesn't feel fatigue. Though work fatigue should be there, but not to that level that person cannot stand, cannot walk, cannot sleep. That maintenance we have to maintain in our minds, that our workers should be that strong. Particularly construction worker, those work in workshops, those work on lathe machines, those work on fitting jobs, those work in electrical, who work all day in sun or in workshop, but with heavy activities, they should have enough immunity into their body, and having high immunity into body, you can say it is an obstruction to viral. It's an obstruction to virus, and that is where requirement stands in. It depends from person to person. Some people have good water, some people don't have good water. Everybody should have quality water, quality food, and required level of rest pause, because rest pause doesn't mean they do not work. Rest pause is also a part of work, because just to relax means just to re-energize yourself timely, instantly. For example, after 2 hours you can say, okay, 5-10 minutes, go and sit down or take a water or take a cup of tea. So we can keep them recharging instantly. That's not part of, you can say, non-work. We consider as a part of work. So no problem. We have to see how people can be better. And this is safety arrangement, health arrangement, safety for health and health for environment. And combination of this is called, if all this safety, health, environment keep on moving in a required, acceptable way, the workers are not impacted upon health by any reason. COVID-19 may not strike them, but it doesn't mean COVID-19 cannot enter their bodies. What happens when our workers work on sites? They are, you can say, they are strong, but they sweat. If you can say, they sweat, and you can say They are hot. They are hot, and their clothes, you can say, become dirty, and sometimes their faces are dusted because of wind laden dust. And we can say that we have to do something for them, and only way is that we have to give them good safety arrangements. We have to allow them enough quantity of water per day if it's hot, and we have to allow them recess or lunch when it's too hot, particularly beyond 35 to 40 degrees. Of course, they can't work above 40 degrees. It is physical work if they are civil people, civil construction people. In factories, of course, they work under cover. In 60-70% cases, they work under cover. So they are not to that level exposed by weather, by sun, as civil construction people are affected, particularly during construction state of structure. Maybe in finishing, people, those who are involved in finishes, they go inside covers, under roof, under slab. So they may not be, but there could be the issue of suffocation if there is no proper ventilation. So we have to keep working conditions in a professional way, in a way that they should work, they should not feel bored. That's very important. That's why I say in engineering, it's life. If there is no life, there is no engineering, and if there is life, there is engineering. Engineering here doesn't mean that you should talk of degree or you should talk of technical. It is safety engineering. Safety, health, environment engineering. This is, of course, not direct engineering. This is, of course, indirect engineering, but this affects all other engineering. If safety, health, and environment cannot be a concern, then why to worry about COVID-19? We do not know it, but we are affected. We do not know who is my friend COVID-19, where does it stay, what is its residential address, what is its official address, who brought it to my country, who brought it to my world, my globe. Nobody knows, but it is there. And I cannot say that it is my enemy. No, it's not my enemy. People may say, if my one mask or one glass, safety glass can stop it, how can you say it's enemy? Does your enemy cost only one mask? Think of. It's not enemy. It is active. It's active viral, and it's very efficient. It's very fast. Particularly, as we say, Delta, COVID-19 Delta is really Delta. It's really in consonance to its symbol, and that symbol is triangle. This triangle, again I say, sum of triangle is 180 degrees. It has got 3 sides, so it is very difficult to handle it, because triangle is first figure in world which has 3 dimensions, 3 sides, and 3 angles and 3 corners, and we have to respect it. It only demands one mask. What else? Yes, eyes can be affected, I agree. So you can use glasses. Most people use spectacles or eyeglasses, and you can use colored glasses or goggles, we say sunglass or safety glass. Only this, that's all. Means generally construction line requires masks during dust, during storm, or when you weld you need mask, or you do some activity where concreting is done, we should use mask. People are not using, I know they don't use, but we should do that. That is a requirement. We can't run away from facts in life. Those facts are very important. We have to think them positively, not negatively. If you think negatively, then engineers cannot work. Engineers are supposed to work in a way it suits them, not to them personally, but not to them personally, but to project. I have written here, गुणवत्ता की आवश्यकता हर कार्य में. It is in Hindi, I'm just speaking, means quality has to be complied with defined requirements in every work. within ambit of work specifications. Quality ranges in elaborations. It goes on varying in variance. Some items, some items of construction are not that serious, not that critical, where everything can happen. But mostly items are such where quality in safety must be considered. You can take excavation for example. Excavation, though it looks, oh, it's only excavation, we have to, some people say, okay, we have to dig pit. No, it's not that. It's also requires safety. Excavation on different kinds of soils. We have to excavate in soft soil like clay, or it can be dried clay, it can be hard. We have to excavate in sand, we have to excavate in silt, we have to excavate in rock, we have to excavate in sandstone, we have to excavate, you can say limestone, or we have to excavate in you can say metamorphic marble area, or also in igneous rocks. All are different materials, all are different strata. Sometimes it's variation also, and soil reports, our investigation reports will tell us it's very hard or hard. If you go to some areas in world, you will find somewhere it is clay abundance, abundance of clay, and also not only clay, there is in some areas soil is sand and water table is high, and somewhere it is very low, loose soil, loose sand, and also some places you will find medium rocks or soft rocks, and if you go to some places where you will find rocks. Particularly example is, in many parts of our country, Bharat, India, you will find clay areas, or they call it soil, black cotton soil, okay, clay areas. And in many parts of the world you will find same kind of soil, which is very, very dangerous, though it's self-supporting. Self-supporting means its angle of repose is not, it doesn't come into picture. But if you say, if you excavate in sand has, it can collapse, it can subside. Sand excavation can subside. But if you take example of clay excavation, clay, when you excavate and it's a moisture, for example, it shall not collapse, it shall not subside. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't require any supporting system. You can who work around that machine, that equipment. Excavation in deep trenches is very critical, and of course we know that we have to keep warning signs there, we have to tell people, we have to keep some guards there, persons who direct others, cars, traffic controls, and of course dewatering. Dewatering is done where water table is too high, or you can say near ground, as near as possible. And water, we know, always reduces strength of soil, and we have to keep it off in excavation work. That is a requirement. It's not that because I like it. We cannot allow water availability in soil when we construct, because if it's clay soil, it's a problem that water cannot flow in through voids. It's called, water is not permeable there. In sand it is permeable because voids are high in sand. In silt, it's also not very much permeable, little better than clay. And if you take, for example, solid soil like excavation of rocks, some rocks are porous and some are semi-porous and some are not porous. Well, it all depends. But water is also a requirement. But water too is related to safety of structures. Though it cannot be assessed exactly, water comes through soil when we excavate. When water sees soil says, oh, it has been taken out, we excavate. Certainly we disturb natural ground. And when we disturb natural strata, some soil is removed. Of course, pressure changes. Pressure changes there, earth pressure. And water is available somewhere. It would come with soil particles. This is natural, you can't stop it. If it is even in no, if it even is no you can say permeable stays, no permeable stays exist, even then water would flow in through soil. And that water which can cause problems to other soils, neighboring soils or distant soils, because of reduction of water particles there can be drying out of settlement due to, not due to upheaval, but due to reduction of quantity in water contents. So that is another kind of safety that doesn't directly impact our workers, but it impacts those structures which are located there. That point also we have to understand clearly, and this is all part of quality. It's part of quality, it's part of safety, it's part of everything. We have to take care of that. That's also an important one. And you can say quality is very important everywhere. And who has to understand this? That points come in. Our great friends, our great professionals, those who have got competency levels and they are engineers, Abhyanta in Hindi, they must realize this requirement. They know it. I can't say no. They know quality, they know safety. But again I say, knowing is one part and doing is another part. Maybe they have some problems, they cannot 100% comply with that. But they are masters of construction, they are masters in factory, they are masters in industry, and materials or products are students. Our products are our students, our materials are our student, our processes are our students, our details what we have to do are also books. We have to understand that point. We cannot ignore it. Engineers are only responsible and liable. Profit is one part, expenses are another part, but this should go to right place. Natural materials should go to right place. We cannot just do what we think. Our thinking should be professional, and that to take care of our people, these materials. It's very, very important part. Field engineering is not easy. Design engineering is not easy. Professional engineering, both are professional engineering, design and field. And when we say field engineering, of course we use civil field engineering here. Civil doesn't mean construction only. Civil means every involvement in construction. Every part that we involve in construction, it may be mechanical activity, it may be electrical activity, it can be IT activity, it can be safety activity, it can be quality activity, it can be whatever activity. It is for people. It is for people, and that's why it's civil. Yes, civil we call it because we start with civil, but it doesn't mean it is civil only. It is for people. That's why all engineering branches are involved generally in every project. When you construct a building, it's not civil alone. Majority is civil, activity wise is civil, but cost wise structure is not that expensive as finishing items are. If you work which are very expensive, of course, and lift, or some have cradles, then glazing, finishing, plastering, rendering, tiling. You may say 30 to 40% maximum are spent budget wise on structures, but time wise it takes lot. The structure takes generally 60% time to 70% time of construction, and that's really wonderful. Cost is not that much, but time is double, more than double. Why other items, which are finishing items, service items, they generally are delivered ready-made, only fixing or installation is required. But fixing and installation or activities doing on site do not consume much time, but safety is more important. Our safety, for example, we are going to install some air conditioning unit, air handling unit, or you can say chiller or package unit. Whatever we say we install, it requires crane for mounting on roof or else in the yard or wherever we do this. So many units are installed. So we have to consider safety of equipment of crane. That is very important. It doesn't work every day, only few days for some building, and we ignore after that. It happens, means okay, today crane is there, mobile crane, tomorrow it may not be there, so we don't care for that. Tower crane is stationed there, but tower crane is a minor crane. It cannot lift all loads, and it has limited capacity, and it is fixed one. So there are rare chances of accidents with tower crane, except if some settlement is there or overturning is there. So we have to consider that aspect. And services, for example, we use crane for lifting as a mounting or vertical mobility for these machines. In electrical, we don't need that. There is a difference. Tower crane is used every day, every hour, whereas all other activities like concrete, we continue for months together, years sometimes. It's thousands and thousands cubic meter of concrete to be laid in slabs. Means safety is very important there. Means there you can say use tower cranes, safety is required. We sometimes use crane, mobile crane, even for concreting. And also we use concrete pump for placing concrete. And we use, you can say, transit mixers on road, then batching plant. Everywhere safety is important. Particularly on road safety, we have to care when our drivers drive transit mixers or on-road mixers, these trucks. Means safety has many meanings. Excavation safety is one, backfill safety is another one. Means some safety are from some safety activities are linked to strength of work or consistency of work, and some are linked directly to health of people. But safety is safety. A machine should be safe, our workers should be safe, or you can say product should be safe, process should be safe. In processing plant, fire, and you can say failure of machines, or you can say explosion, all these are required to be protected, and we have to do that. Simply speaking doesn't mean anything. We have to do, and that doing is very important. We cannot simply say it will happen, it shall happen. No, it shall happen, doesn't matter. What I mean to understand is, how do our people work on sites? Very important point again I discuss all time, that construction method statements. Construction method statements, again I say, it may be safety, it may be quality, it may be process or whatsoever. Construction method statement is such an important document which we produce. It's not delivered. This is an only document that it may be contractor or it may be whosoever, or even if you do work yourself, you don't employ contractor. In that case also, you have to devise, you have to chart out some method for every activity. Safety activity, quality activity, manufacturing activity, construction activity, in whatever field, you have to do. If you do not revise, if you do not write something, how you are going to do? Even if nobody is going to approve that, approval is another part. Even if nobody is going to approve your work method, you have to approve yourself. Responsibility lies with you. If you take wrong sequences, if you do not include involvement or factor of safety discipline, factor of equality discipline, and factor of production, what material you are going to use, what are reference drawings, and approval is yours, but does that material fit in? Which equipment you are going to use, which records of your drawing, your specifications you are going to use, all must be known to you before doing some activity. It's like you can say detailed information, a complex of information required for doing something, carrying out something, and that material list must be with you. Those specifications must be with you. What you have to use, journal specification, the project specification, all those must be known to engineer or whoever is responsible there. It's called the collection, it's called the coordinated information. If there is some clash, you have to clear that too. That is where we can say it's a kind of method statement based, method statement material support. And then you have to make a chain, or you can say chain of activities you have to include. In that activities even, you have to procure, you have to arrange workers, you have to arrange machines, you have to arrange materials, you have to arrange materials for preparatory work, for you can say permanent work, and you have to make arrangements for temporary access to that location. Only then you can say my sequence is work. So you have to sequence everything. You have to sequence for temporary work, you have to sequence for preparatory work, you have to sequence for permanent work, and total this is called work. Temporary work, preparatory work, permanent work, and examinations, or you can say testing, or you can say supervision, whatever. And post that also, if some activity applies, for example on concrete, post activity is very long, for example curing, removal of shutters. All these are very time consuming. So we can say, if you don't know sequence of your activities, you cannot do anything per requirement. When I say requirement, this means all requirements, drawing requirements, design requirement, specification requirement, industrial requirement, whatever else, or you can say you can add your mind to that as well if you wish. If you want to make improvement in profession, if you want to tell others what you can do, and that is top one. If your mind works, your proposition works, I think that's best, that's better for project, and it is more than what information is given to that work by all these combinations, as I said, drawings, specifications, and all contract documents. Nothing is complete in engineering. Engineering is never complete. First time you do something, maybe you get some errors, or you cannot do perfect work, but within acceptance limits. Second time when you do that, you will find faster speed and better, and you may add something other than which you did not do last time, first time, and then next one, and next one, and next one. And you can say you will go on adding speed, your workers will go learn more and more and more, and of course they will become ignorant also, which you have to keep them stopped. No ignorance. Okay, you are experienced, fine, you have repeated this activity number of times, but you are also getting down from your concentration on that activity, focus on that activity, and that's also a very important point, because we know it, don't worry, we'll carry out this. We know, I know. This I know can take to unknown. Sometimes I talk to many people in my life, and generally some people who do not want to listen, they want to just show that everything is known to those people, or that I know, we know, don't worry. That approach is not practical. Okay, we understand, but you have to do. There's a difference. Knowing something and doing it, both should correspond. If these two don't correspond, just say, speak, I know, but I don't care. Also a point. Care is care. Ignorance is ignorance. I know something, okay, I let it go on, I'll check at right time, and you forget to check at right time. That's what I say. Concentration is very important. Without concentration, because a method statement is a concentration of activities. Construction method statement is a must for work implementation and therefore must be charted out professionally. No concession can be allowed on this activity. Method statement or work procedure is a must and it should tell formally about what is to be done on works that must be done for quality realization, or else there can be no real control. Expression of specific details in convenient format for work performance and define, elaborate what to perform, how to perform, or else no work can be carried out in sequence or output suffers, resulting in bad standard work process produced. Therefore, method statement is necessary for activities implementation, or else there are diverse ways people would do and that's not acceptable. Time is important factor. Everybody knows it. On works, it may be contract work or other work, doesn't matter, time is time. We can't run away from time. Time organization is very important and every activity shall tell you what's my time. Don't worry about that if you concentrate. And if you don't concentrate, it will not tell you anything. It shall not tell you anything. That's why I say focus. Focus leads to center, and then leads to concentration all time. That is reason that supervisors are present on sites, or those people who inspect work, they are present. But dedication is required. It's not simply you come to site, check and go away. Dedicated duty means you have to continue that work, because we cannot trust those people who work physically to think of every time. Time is very important, and thinking how they are doing, how can you help them, how can you help reduce time. That's where you can say some support is required for that line support, for those support of workers who should be supported by supervisors, and supervisors should be supported by seniors, engineers or whosoever. That's what I say. Concentration is very important, though I not written in this statement concentration, but concentration is very important from every point of view to arrange time requirement. And risk, of course, risk and reliability must be. There is risk in every activity. We cannot say there is no risk. And if you say there is no risk, that means there is no requirement of anybody. Always risk access. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know. When we know, we can solve it. We can understand it, why it has come, from where it has come, why we cannot stop it. What was reason in beginning we could not understand this? No problem. Everybody cannot be understood all time. Step by step we go and we understand. That is what we say. We use mind. Sometimes we know, but we do not know when it shall happen, but it happens. We do not know. We know what is wind. We know what is dust, wind. What is storm. We know, but we do not know when it shall come. It's same thing. Means some things are beyond our control, and we have to understand them accordingly. Risk is that means, okay, I start concrete. Say, I'm going to start concrete. Clouds are no there. Nowhere there's no cloud. It's a very beautiful day. And when I start concrete, it's 25%. I go hard. 1, 4, 3. Oh, it's raining. Means I took risk because weather was clear. There was no indication of rain, but what? It rains in between concreting time, concreting pour, and it causes some problem to concrete because concrete is wet, it's dry, it's not dry, it's not set. So this was a risk. In that case, I should be ready for something. Either I have to protect that area from rain, or I have to do something that rain doesn't impact our concrete. We have to immediately put some polythene cover on that something so that rain at least should not harm it. It's very simple, means we have to use it for curing for something. So we should have in our stocks on site. And likewise, there are so many risks. For example, we know that people are working here, people can fall, it's very hot, temperature is too high. If you don't preserve water, they don't store water there, this can cause problem. If you don't care about people's safety there, we are working at height. We know that railing is not strong sometimes, our scaffolding or our platforms are not strong. We know it can jeopardize site. Mentally it may be. People can fall, people can be impacted by sunstroke. We should have some arrangement for that. Before doing everything, we should have completely surveyed, we have complete acknowledge where people should descend immediately in this situation. And that's where safety works in, and that's where safety is enrichment of safety, and doing that enrichment on site is quality of. And inexperienced one can cause problems sometimes until they have enough experience. Experience doesn't come because of education only. It comes by mistakes, it comes by doing in works, whatever class of engineer you are. Experience becomes your teacher. It doesn't mean you learn in university, it doesn't mean you learn in your institution. You can learn from many unknown sources. And solid source is your work project. Whatever work you do, that teaches you. Every work teaches us. But student should be smart. Work is not smart. Work is smart always. But student should be smart, and that student myself. How I supervise work, how I learn activities, how do I go through requirements, that should be my preparation. If I do not know all those, if I do not know, for example, contract documents or work specifications, or I do not study thoroughly those, I do not coordinate, and if I coordinate, I do not write something to communicate. Information doesn't reach to those people. For say, for example, surveyors, they do not know some updated changes, and they would do same as is given to them. So it's very important point that in that organization of work, in that construction team, in that world of construction or manufacturing, communication and coordination are very important tool. How you systemize some work, some organization, that is, can say, quality organization, and how can you understand your role with that? What's your role? What's your real duty other than job description? And if job description indicates that, what is this one, you have to do that. And on top of everything is your personal conduct, is your self-conduct, how you want to learn. Are you hungry for learning, or no, you are just hungry for completing that day so that your salary is safe? If that is the case, I cannot answer that. You have to think of that. So we can say reliability comes into picture, and reliability is, reliability, we can say accessibility defined. Reliability, what way it is defined? it is defined in a very constructive way, and that is safety from all involved factors. Safety from all involved factors, successful serviceability of intended purpose. Try to understand. Safety from all involved factors, successful serviceability of intended purpose, mandated durability of its working life, all other necessary resource involved, applicable knowledge areas, factors. Which resources must be understood and achieved in all procedures, or else one should learn before taking responsibility, and all foregoing issues must be considered along with possible risk. This is very, very simple definition. Very, very simple. You have to consider safety. You have to consider service of that activity or by that activity. You have to mandate long life of that, and that is durability of its working life. And all other resources required or involved or linked, which are in knowledge areas, and those are facts. Those are not imaginations, and which must be understood, which resources must be understood and achieved in all procedures, or else one should learn before taking responsibility, and all foregoing issues must be considered along with all possible risks. All time I cannot concentrate on only this. Now, there are 2 points: analysis and synthesis and thinking. Analysis, synthesis and thinking we have explained many times, so I don't think that we should waste time. Thinking and concentration, as I said. Again I say, thinking and concentration. Thinking and concentration, it's actually very difficult. This is an only activity where people fail. Frankly speaking, thinking and concentration actually should be food for everybody, particularly those who use minds like you, like me. We are supposed to use our mind. If I cannot use my mind, it's my fault. If my mind is duffer, you can say, if my mind is duffer or useless, I cannot complain that it cannot think. And in that case also I cannot claim that I am an engineer, or I am doctor, or I am some other professional, because I don't care for my basic capability, and that capability is activity of thinking. Thinking activity is an only activity that has no limit. Thinking activity is an only activity that gives me power. It's an activity that changes my mind. It's an activity that raises question. It's very simple term, thinking. It's but in my mind, your mind. These are not simply boxes or spheres. These contain knowledge. This can contain knowledge if you earn more knowledge, if you learn more